I had a very turbulent experience with watching my parents' relationship growing up. And I always knew that I didn't want that, but the very thing that we say we don't want is what ends up coming into your life as a challenge.
Yep.
So the other thing is, I didn't realize how much that had conditioned me. So even though mentally I was cognizant of it, and I was like, I'm not going to have that kind of relationship, but it's the only type of love I knew.
There it is. There it is.
So every relationship prior to now it was the mirror of my parents' relationship.
I never imagined my public healing would inspire others to heal across the world.
I thank you for using him to reach the world with a message of hope in relationships.
But your life does not.
God, you are my publicist. We laughed. We shared the unadulterated truth.
He said, not only have I not divorced you, I ain't exposed you.
Oh!
We didn't marry fans, we married forever. And we wanted forever to act like a fan.
Reveal her, Jesus.
I will not compromise on getting a woman of God.
You don't have to.
And Father, I declare for his future wifey, thank you for preserving her.
This season, I declare miracles and
See,
manifestations.
you selling scripts.
And you're unique. You ain't like nobody else. I noticed that right away. You being true to who you are, you're going to attract. It's a Hebrew word, hayil, and it was translated wealth, and it means people, it means men, it means resources, and it means means.
I'm Lateris R. Whitfield, and this is the Dear Future Wifey Podcast.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. I'm your host, Lateris R. Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, come on, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. Hey, we have a retreat coming up, November the 9th through the 12th. We're going to Los Cabos, Mexico on a healing retreat. Special guest, therapist, psychotherapist, Paul Bache Williams, my boy. So, hey, make sure that y'all visit the link in the description and sign up. This has been presented with our partner, I Can't Wait to Travel, and we're going to have an amazing time. So make sure, a lot of y'all got upset because y'all heard about the trip to Jamaica late, and y'all were asking me, can you just squeeze me in? And unfortunately, once the rooms are sold out, there's nothing I can do. So make sure you're the first to go ahead and reserve your spot today. Listen, I've been having such an amazing time in season 6. This season has been nicknamed and coined Miracles and Manifestations. And so I've been very specific about the guests that I brought on for this season. And y'all know how I feel about my brothers. When I get a brother on the podcast, we get a chance to cut up, we get a chance to have fun, and y'all get a chance to get an inside look into the minds of men so that you could, learn how to pivot and strategize and just learn men on a different level. So without further ado, I got my boy on the podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast, my homie, Affion Crockett, y'all. What's up, boy? What's up?
My guy, what up?
Man, listen. All right, now, Affion, you can't be cussing on here, all right?
Don't tell me what to do.
Man, you can't be cussing. This is a family podcast, all right?
Hey, man, families cuss.
I know families cuss, but they can't be cussing on the Dear Future Wifey Podcast.
All right, I'll see what I can do, man.
You see what you can do?
Just don't ask nothing crazy, and you won't get the cuss. You understand me?
So if I ask something crazy, it's my fault if you cuss.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Hey, Affion, man, first of all, you've been killing the game for a long time.
Thank you, brother.
Man, did you ever expect that your life would look like what it looks like right now?
I did. That's the power of manifestation.
There it is.
And speaking it into existence.
Yeah.
I always spoke exactly where I saw myself, even when I didn't know what it was going to look like. You know, when I was still in school. And I mean, but that's the very definition of faith, right? We walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah.
It's the evidence of things unseen. And don't get me quoting the Bible because
you're going to mess it up.
I'm going to mess it up. But you can tell that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You at least sat in church once or twice in your life.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there it is.
It's like, if you can see it, it's not really faith. And if it's tangible, why do you need God? So You got to be able to say things that sound crazy to you, crazy to your spirit, and then crazy to the people around you. That's when I knew that I was actually going to see it come to pass. When I would boldly say it and even write it, like I had it written in the yearbook.
What would you say?
In my yearbook, I said, upon graduation, I'm going to venture into stand-up comedy and other facets of the entertainment business.
Really?
So keep your TVs on, your movie screens on. You haven't seen the last of me yet. I wrote those things.
And during that time, you was a part of a hip hop dance group, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yep.
so you had vision of, did you see that y'all were going to be some big dance company?
No, at the time when I was writing the stuff about comedy, that's when I had left, or the group kind of just disbanded. Like those guys, and they're still my boys to this day, but at the time they had just gotten saved. And you know how when people get super saved? So they had just gotten saved.
They said, can't dance no more?
Dog. They had just gotten saved, and at the time they was like, yeah, we they started wearing cardigans and loafers and all that. And I was, I already knew God, but I was like, I know God in a real way. It don't mean that you gotta
not dance no more.
Exactly. So, but I respected them. I was like, all right, cool. And that's when it was actually the best thing they could have done. And that's when I started turning to stand-up comedy. And so that after that whole thing with them is when I got into stand-up comedy and just set my sights on, I'm going to make it at this thing called entertainment.
I saw a video of you and your crew on Apollo.
Yeah, I posted it. That's where you seen it.
Yeah, I seen it. You went and did a whole blast from the past type of thing, and I was like, man, I love to see people's hidden talents because even in your skits and stuff you do or whatever, you can tell you're very comfortable with your body and movement, right. And I didn't know it went all the way back to dancing or whatnot. And I was like,
well, it's not so hidden. I mean, we're in a day and age where there's just too much content out there. So people for years have known that I've never stopped dancing. So, but I understand from your standpoint, if you only know me for
comedy,
a certain thing, for comedy, then you're not going to know my dance background. But yeah, I've never stopped dancing. I've been a dancer since I was 10 years old.
10 years old. So when you look through this journey of love, I know you probably get this question asked often. And I'm going to ask you a generic question, which is going to be an insult, but why aren't you married? And the reason why I say it's an insult question, because I hate that question, but I'm going to go there and unpack it. Why aren't you married?
The tangible answer, no, I'll start with the spiritual answer. I'm not married because God hasn't given me that gift yet, or given me that space yet. He doesn't. He hasn't. It hasn't happened under his watch as of right now. The tangible answer is, I had a very turbulent experience with watching my parents' relationship growing up, and I always knew that I didn't want that. But the very thing that we say we don't want is what ends up coming into your life as a challenge.
Yep.
So the other thing is, I didn't realize how much that had conditioned me. So even though mentally I was cognizant of it, and I was like, I'm not going to have that kind of relationship, but it's the only type of love I knew.
There it is.
So every relationship prior to now was the mirror of my parents' relationship.
That's
the
deep.
Toxicity.
That's deep.
It's just a lot of things. I don't want to put my parents' business in the street, but just a lot of toxicity and a lot of unhealed hearts and spirits, and just, it's a lot.
So the very thing you were running from, you end up running to subconsciously.
I became it. And didn't realize, like, because of the relationship that we have with our parents, that's the first love that we know.
Facts.
Is those people, right? Yep. And when you see their interaction with each other, you think that's how people are supposed to react when they're in relationship and when they're in love. And even if you're taught differently outside of your home, the first two people that you love, this is how they act. So this must be right.
Yep.
These are the people that raised me. These are the people that feed me.
Yep.
So sure, I can go to these scholars and these therapists and all these people on the outside that's telling me it's supposed to look this way, but this is what I see. So obviously this is the right way.
Yeah.
And it's the furthest thing from the truth.
Have you ever were you ever close to?
Yeah, I've been in a few really, committed, deep relationships for sure.
Did it ever lead to an engagement?
No. One almost led to an engagement out of fear and out of manipulation and out of all the things.
Well, you feel like you was going to lose her, so you feel like you had to propose or something?
I didn't feel like I was going to lose her, but she was doing all the things that made me feel like I needed her. And you feel like that's manipulation? If you know the rest of the story, I know it was manipulation, for sure. Yeah.
And what did that do then? So at that point, you had somebody that you cared about, all right, but you felt like all the other stuff was manipulative to get you to what place?
Well, similar to something that you shared with me a minute ago, right?
Yeah.
That relationship specifically was a rebound, and I rushed into that one.
Yeah.
Didn't really know her. So everything about how, and I don't want to put it all on her, but everything about how our interaction was through, it was a lot of manipulation and a lot of unhealed energy and experiences on both ends.
How long y'all together? How long did it take you to wake up and say, this is unhealthy?
3 years. 3 years. But I knew it was unhealthy before the 3 years, way before. But you think you're supposed to, again, looking at my parents, you think you're supposed to just stay in it. But I am a purveyor of peace. I love peace. I seek peace. And so, yeah, I woke up from all that toxicity and I was just like, nah, my next relationship is going to be fruitful. It's going to be exactly what I need it to be, what I want it to be. And I won't accept anything less than that.
There it is.
And it's that simple.
Like that simple.
We can't let society tell us that we got to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times we hear these words toxicity. To give people reference, what did you experience that you would put the word toxicity on it where you kept saying, I knew it was toxic at the beginning?
When you have turbulent speech with somebody, the arguing and the level of arguing, and then someone who says they love you and with the same lips turn around and say the nastiest things to you, things that you shared in confidence that they then bring up in the argument.
Yeah.
Your vulnerable side.
Yep.
And as men,
yeah,
this is the part that we are now starting to unearth.
Yep.
Which is,
yep,
we don't get to be vulnerable.
Yep.
One step further than just men, black men. We don't get to be vulnerable.
Yep.
Right? We are always taught to be strong and when we in the hood, we gotta be
tough.
You gotta be tough when you're gonna be eaten by the wolves, right? So you gotta become a wolf in some ways. Even if you're not a thug or into that lifestyle,
you gotta show that you can't be messed with.
You gotta show that you can't be tampered with. And so when you find somebody that you love, and you find this woman and you start sharing with her like some of your pain and one of my biggest pains that I didn't even realize was affecting me until recently, I found out about my biological father when I was 12. So imagine this, the two people that I love first, mom and dad, that I think is my biological mom and dad, tell me at 12 that one of these things is not the same. You know what I mean? That I have a biological father, some whole other person, you tell me his name and all that, and now I gotta walk around with this notion that there's somebody else that is responsible for me being here. That is the first violation of trust. I have major trust issues. So I didn't realize that it came from right in that moment when they told me that my dad, who I thought was my dad, is not my biological. Now, of course, he's still my father.
Right.
And that's the first thing I told him. I said, you're still my dad. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Respect to this other guy who I met later and we have a great relationship now. But the process of how that information is delivered to you, it's not, we don't realize the damage that's done.
That's huge though. I've heard that happen to more people than I would like to know that that's happened to.
Yeah.
But they'll find out about 20 years old and find out about it when somebody's going through a health crisis and they trying to find a kidney that match. And they're like, hold on, but you're not my dad. You're not my. So did you put the quote unquote, I use the word blame for lack of better words, but do you put the blame on the mom and the dad, or do you put it more on your mom? Did you feel like you have distrust issues with women to a certain degree because you felt like your biological mom should have told you who your biological dad was?
I don't know that I would use the word blame. What I can say is I attribute that incident in that moment, that information at that time, I attribute it to my trust issues, right? I try not to do the blame thing because empathy tells me at the time they had me, my dad who raised me was 19.
Okay.
My mother was 22.
Yeah.
So I think back to when I was 19 and 22, and it's like, you don't know how to put on your shoes right. You know what I'm saying? You don't lotion your knees right at that time. So, you know, they was raising a full family at that age, and in their teenage minds, they thought they were protecting me by not telling me this information. You know how it was. Having parents from the 70s, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they winged it. They didn't know nothing, and the generation before them didn't say nothing. The grandfathers don't talk about nothing.
Nothing.
And best believe they got illegitimate children across town.
Or right across the street. And right. They be literally sitting in class with you, and you just had no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Look like, just alike. Got 2 different last names. It's like, man, as we got a lot of healing to do as a people, let alone as individual families. It gets real, Laterras.
It gets real.
The scandal gets real.
And so so at 12 years old, and when did you say it was just recent that, so I take it that you're in therapy?
Yeah, not right this second, but because my therapist said to me, she said, my goal is not to keep you in therapy. So that was one of the main reasons why I was just like, oh, you're a keeper. She said, I'm going to always leave the door open if you ever need to come back and talk, but I don't want to keep you in therapy. I want to give you the tools to go out there and process on your own.
That's good.
And I said, oh, you're not about the money.
There it is.
So you're definitely not wasting my time.
Yeah.
And I love her. Like she felt like an auntie to me and just told it. She told me the truth, but in a way that she didn't allow me to self-deprecate in her office. She didn't allow me to down talk myself. She would always make me rethink when I wanted to kind of have a pity party or whatever that was. But yeah, after my last relationship that imploded, that's when I went to therapy. I said, I'm noticing the pattern here.
That's good.
All of the relationships that I've had ended very similarly. And I was actually mid-argument in my last relationship when I was like, wait a second, the common denominator is me.
Good.
So she's doing the packing and she's like, I can't do this and da-da-da. She's doing all the yelling and and I got really quiet in that moment. I was like, I've been here before.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. And before it was easy for me to just, when she gets out the house, be like, that crazy girl is gone, and pick up the phone,
and call
my friend. No, not another one.
Like about to call another.
Call my friends and vent to them and say, man, guess what she did? And this is why we're not together no more. And just do all of the stuff that she did. Point. And in that moment of that last breakup, I was like, oh, wait. It's me. It's something about me. I'm not saying it's my fault, but it's something about me that's drawing this energy.
That's good.
And it's something that I'm giving off that causes this cyclone of a tornado.
Affion, when I say it's good, that's good self-awareness.
See, you didn't know that I did these relationships talks, but I've been doing them for the last 4 years.
I said Affion is so hilarious that, you know, most people will want to talk to you about that, get you on their podcast, get you on their show, laugh with you, you're going to crack up, you're going to do all, because when I tell you helped me through the pandemic laughing when you would do that Devin Samuels character. I'll be like, you be locked into these characters. I'll be like, because I kept saying he gonna break character.
But even if you listen to Devin Fontaine, when I was doing the character, you would hear wisdom come out.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Relationship wisdom.
That's why I used to like it. It was perfect balance.
And a lot of my stand-up is about relationships. Like 45 minutes of my hour is this, what we're talking about right now.
That's good.
But the funny way, the cussy way.
You gotta cuss.
Gotta
cuss to pay the bills.
Gotta cuss. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I was like, so how'd that character come about?
Devin Fontaine?
Yeah.
It was originally from Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
So when I saw Kevin Samuels, the first thing I noticed about him, I just saw a couple of clips. Like I never watched him go live. And so I didn't even know that people was doing that. Like sitting on IG Live and just doing these sessions. And so somebody sent me a clip. And the first thing my comedic mind picked up on was, he don't look like he want to be there. It's his platform. He's inviting people on. And as soon as they get on the screen, he'll look down at his fingernails and be like, what's your name? Where are you calling from? So when I first did the character...
He says his platform, but he look like he don't want to be there.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. So when I first saw the character, or saw him doing that, I was like, oh, I got to spoof this. It was pandemic, so we had, I was just figuring out things to do, and I was like, oh, man, I should spoof this. And I went on IG Live one night. I said, hey, man, should I spoof this? And everybody in the comments was like, yeah, you should. So I literally went on. It might have been actually the same night. And I had the gray beard, the glasses, and a turtleneck. When I tell you everybody, it was about 6,000 people strong. And then Swizz Beats jumped on with me. Like all these different people, celebrities was jumping on with me. Roxy from 106 and Park and Extra. Yeah. Everybody jumped on and just had a blast just with this character. And in the beginning, it was directly Kevin Samuels who I was impersonating. And then as I got more into the character and the voice, it morphed into this other character that I had been doing for 10 years. So that's why I changed the name to Devin Fontaine. Okay. So yeah, that's the origin of the character.
When I tell you, I jumped
on.
This
might be my guy. I got to double check.
He'd be locked in. Huh? If he answered, yeah.
Oh, no, that ain't him. All right, cool.
But so what was so funny about it is how committed you were, and then you'll just hang up. You'll literally just hang up on somebody's face. I said, "What is wrong with this dude?"
Yeah, for what I do, man. If you're not locked into the character, it's not believable. So
you just hang up on somebody and be talking. You be like, click. And then you just sit there and you'll push your seat all the way back and roll.
Yeah, the funny thing is I had to go to Office Depot and get
a rolling chair.
A rolling chair. I said, I got to have a rolling chair.
He just rolled away from the thing.
That's the only way it's going to work.
And you slide back up. I said, this joker. So at the most, how many people were on that live at the height of that? You said at the first day is 5,000-6,000.
Well, 5,000-6,000 as I'm on.
Yeah.
So when you hang up, they give you the larger numbers. So that had to be about maybe 60,000-75,000 at the end of it, because I stayed on for like hours doing the same thing that he was doing.
You were bringing people on, just hanging up on them and talking to them?
Hanging up on celebrities. I hung up on Michael Rappaport, Roxy, Swizz.
Swizz came in and asked for some advice?
Nah, Swizz. What did Swizz? Swizz said something funny. No, Swizz was saying stuff like, "You a genius, and these people need to understand. And if they got a problem with you, they got a problem with me." So we had that whole banter. Nah, it was fun.
You said
fun
you
times,
hanging up on people. I said, "This joke could be." And people's literally, and those people's literally calling you for real advice. It was women calling. It changed to you over here playing, but you actually were giving legit advice to people.
Yeah.
What did you think when people literally like asking for a real advice, when you knew they wasn't looking at it as a joke? Because they was asking advice.
I mean, that's actually, right up my wheelhouse. Like it's not hard for me to do that. You know what I mean? So,
oh God. So man, so when you look at this thing and you say that you've done would you say you've done the work to heal the toxicity in your own personality trait to now bring forth the type of woman that you need to bring peace in your life? Do you feel like you've done that?
Yeah. I mean, I think every day is a process, but I am so hyper aware now, and I am way less tolerant to the wrong thing. So if it ain't right, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing I noticed is most relationships are two people that meet each other and try to change each other, as opposed to how about you gave me you gave me all your traits, you gave me all your core values and all that, and I just say, oh, great person, not for me, but great person, I wish you the best. Or maybe we just be friends or whatever, business colleagues. We do this too much, where we'll meet people and we'll pick the 3 things we like about them, and if and if we're attracted to them, we'll try to date them and hope the other 17 things change. Leave them 17 things alone, because there may be somebody else
that got the 17
and
then 6 things you don't like.
Got all the 20. And it matches that person. Like let it be that for that person. Don't rush into nothing with somebody that you know is not for you.
Do you think that in the realm that you're in, where you ain't a shortage of meeting no women, we're gonna just call it what it is.
I mean, I'm out here.
You outside, so you ain't got a problem meeting no women. Do you feel like that we can operate in the false sense of trying to find the perfect person?
100%.
And so at what stage, how do you find that balance then? Because you say, hey, when I just said you'll find somebody that has the 17 things that you really like and there are 6 things that you may not like, you may say what you just echoed was find the person that has all of them, the 20 or whatever. Do you feel that that's the space that you may be in where you're looking for perfection?
I do know that I am a perfectionist, but I'm aware of it. So what I'm looking for more is the connection.
Yes.
The connection and the I'm looking for the connection and the woman that I feel peace with, that I can communicate with, that's really into me. Because a lot of the women that I've dated,
talk about it.
Unfortunately, because of
what you do,
what I do, want a piece of that.
That's what I was about to say.
And like I'm not into the power couple thing. I think too many people, not just women, too many people now are too caught up in what social media and other podcasts and reality shows teach them, right? Everything is about the bag. Bag chase. Everybody is not a brand.
There it is.
Can we say that? Everybody ain't a brand. Everybody is not supposed to be a business person.
Facts.
That's just what it is.
Facts.
So, I meet a lot of women that are so gung-ho about, I gotta do that, and get the bag, and then, my brand, my social following, and this. I'm interested in none of it, Lateris. None of it.
And see, people wouldn't even believe that, though. They wouldn't even think that because you have such a big brand. Then they think that you will overlook a woman who is just... and I hate for people always use
a cashier or whatever.
Or like I always say a school teacher or somebody like that. They'd be like, there ain't no way Affion gonna want a woman that's just...
There's a way. Oh, there's a way. There's a way.
How would you even see her, Affion? Where you gonna meet at?
How would she see me?
Unpack that. What you mean by that? How's she gonna see you?
How is she gonna see me? Because if most people see the comedian, even like you did, if most people see the comedian,
that's good,
the entertainer, how are they gonna see the little boy in me that just wanted protection?
There it is.
That just wanted peace. That just wanted to be chosen. That still wants to be chosen.
That's good.
And how is she gonna care about that side of me when she can only see the guy that's
hosting the big
presented,
events,
hosting at Essence, or you know what I'm saying? So, and mind you, I'm not in a space where I don't think it's possible. I'm what I call a hopeful romantic, right?
Yep.
I know that it's possible, and I know she's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just about being really clear about who I am and knowing what my boundaries are, because you can let an imposter in. that look exactly like what you looking for.
You trying to start something? I'm gonna let that. You trying to start something?
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
You can let an imposter in that looks pretty close to what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're not spiritually discerning correctly,
Yeah.
you'll miss, even down to the toenail, or that toenail is fraudulent.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a glitch in the system. That's not it.
There it is.
So
that's good, man. That's good. So I'm gonna ask you this: do you desire marriage?
we talked about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I do desire marriage. Let me just say that. I desire to be with my mate, my best friend, and to live life together, travel the world together. I'm more about the together kind of relationship. This new age, you go do your thing, I'm gonna go do my thing, and then we come together and we get it popping, and then we go out off and do our thing again. That ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't knocking it, like, but it ain't
not
for me
at all. No.
I was watching over the weekend. I was watching. Conor McGregor has a documentary on Netflix, a docuseries, 4 parts.
Conor McGregor,
UFC fighter.
Yeah.
I'm a martial artist too, so I love fights and fighters. But outside of all his antics, right? When you watch this thing and you look into the heart of this man, how he loves his woman. This is not even his wife yet. He's about to get married to her now. But whatever their agreement was, works for them.
Yeah.
They have 3 kids, and you can see each kid that was born during the documentary.
Dang.
How happy he was about these kids and how it just turned him into marshmallows. Like, this tough guy, he just melts at these kids and the love that he has with his woman. Every time you see them together, they're laughing.
Yes.
They're hugging. They're having little private jokes. They're on a private jet. And he says about his woman, he says, she was working while I didn't have anything. And I was trying to figure it out. And she stuck by me no matter what. He says, so now I have no problem spoiling her. I took honor in taking her from work.
Yeah.
From having to work. And the world is hers. Whatever she needs, that's what that is. And then cut to them on this private jet toasting to each other. And of course, the cameras are there, but I know what real from fake.
Yeah. We actors and directors,
right.
You know when people are just doing contrived movements.
Yeah.
But what would you think? Because a lot of women would hear that and they going like, oh, no. Nope. You had 3 kids with me and didn't even legitimize our relationship with a ring. And you just said some trigger points, which is you telling me that she was the one holding it down financially when he didn't have anything. Nope. The women have been there, done that, and they've gotten the short end of the stick. While there is such truth and value in that, because I always say, yes, you want somebody that when you had nothing, that all y'all had was love with each other. Right. But then what is the balance? Do you believe that there's a balance of a woman not doing that, having 3 kids with a dude that won't put a ring on her finger, that clearly from a financial standpoint, she was the one carrying the burden of it? I don't know if kids came before he really made it, or one of the 2 kids happened or whatnot. Then what do you say? Speak on that.
I would say mind your business. You see how simple that was? Because everybody that comes and says all the stuff you just said, right? They're minding 2 people's business who, between the 2 of them, it works. So what we do is we want to put our own stuff on other people's things, on other people's lives, and make our standard their standard. It should be the standard because this is what I need. I need the ring first before I have a kid. And you're not going to just baby moms me. And yet she's living in all the mansions he living in. She on all the private jets. She at every fight with him. He proclaims her from the mountaintops and he praises her. Like, that works for them. Why? Every house is not built the same.
Facts.
It just ain't. Even if it's 2 identical homes.
Man.
The process of building those 2 identical homes is never going to be the same.
Exactly.
So I have nothing to say to all that stuff you just said. But mind your business. Just mind your business.
So, Affion, you gonna have 3 kids by a woman?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking you.
No. Listen, that's not what I want for me.
I know it. That's what I'm asking you.
No.
Would you see the value in that?
No. What I'm talking about in that relationship,
it works
is
for them.
Somebody, not even the process of the baby mom. That's not. See, you took the focus off.
No, because I know because black women, that's where a lot of their trauma is.
Yeah, but that's why we gotta on these podcasts. You have to present a different energy. You have to present a different spirit behind how men and women relate to each other. Sure, I know that most women want to be courted, married, then have the kids and all of that. What I'm talking about is a lot of people that are courted and married to the wrong person. Courted by the wrong person.
Yeah.
Married to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because they want the ceremony.
Yeah.
They want the dress. They want the day. They don't want the life that comes with that.
Yeah. And the responsibility.
The responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is let people find love the way they find love. Right? I saw a connection between 2 people who've been holding each other down.
For a long
That's
time.
what I focused on.
For a long time.
For a long time. And the way that man, which is rare, the way that man was praising his woman.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
He could be out there doing whatever wild stuff he want to do with all these different types of women, but he's not.
Yeah.
He take his woman everywhere with him. His kids everywhere with him.
That's good.
Whatever Rolls Royce he in, they're in it too. And he it's not even, he don't even blink his eye about it.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing of like, oh yeah, I kind of got a wife or kind of got a relationship.
Unapologetic about it. He'd be like, this.
He's public. It's dope.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. I saw a connection between 2 people who really know each other, who really love each other, and who really hold each other down. And that's what I'm on.
Why is that so important for you? Because like you said, people see you, but they see what you do. You know, did you have experiences like that made you say, see, I'm seeing this constant thing where I see these women who act like they love me, but they're more in love with what I do based upon them may say something slick like, so are you going to invite me to this? Are we going to walk the red carpet together? Or are you going to have me this?
You just said all of it. I've heard all of those statements. Like literally every statement you just said. Or can you call this person and get this? I got a clothing line, or I got this product. Can you get this to this? Mm-hmm. I've experienced all of it.
What have you done? Have you acquiesced in their requests?
Some of them I did it, and then if it's not organic to me, and if I don't feel the love in it, it runs its course.
Yeah.
And finally, I have to look at the whole chessboard and say, you're not really here for me. Mm-hmm. And I would be lying to myself if I move forward with you. I can't honor why you're here.
That's good.
And again, I want to be really clear. I don't knock nobody that I've been with. Like my goal is to never bash or make them wrong. I have my own issues that I brought to the table.
Right.
But the connection just was not there. And that's just simply that. You know, I didn't take my time and heal and really search for the woman that I wanted in those moments. And search for the woman that was right for me and who I'm right for. Yeah. And so,
like you said, it goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways for sure. Yeah,
because you keep bringing up the word compatibility and connection and that type of stuff, which is really, really important. But it's good that, because at first I thought you was like, I don't really see, marriage in my future or whatever. But and the way you worded it was still interesting because you brought up the fact of doing life together. And sometimes doing life together can look like just, I have this homeboy that was saying, I'll never get married again. But he has this woman in his life that he says, I don't want another woman. I'm not going to. He said, I don't see the value in marriage. She doesn't have to worry about me stepping out and cheating. She has the lifestyle that I afford her, but I'm never getting married. ever again. He said marriage did a number on him. He doesn't see the value in it. He said, I don't even see where it's in the Bible where it makes sense. He said it just don't make sense to him. And he said that day we were talking, he said he's about to go into a debate with the pastor at this church that they started going with, because the wife and the pastor, the first lady and the pastor going to sit down and try to convince him biblically why he should marry this woman. That
Let me tell you something, brother. One thing I'll never do is debate anybody about what I believe in. About what I believe in. I don't care what that is. If it's the color red or the how the government should not be involved in anybody's marriage.
Exactly.
I'm not going to debate it. If it works for me, it works for me. If you believe differently, don't you dare try to convince me that I should think like you. And that's about anything. I don't eat shrimp.
Nobody ain't gonna make you eat no shrimp, huh?
Don't you dare try to make me think that because you like shrimp and you feel like shrimp is supposed to be eaten, that I need to be eating shrimp too. You're gonna make me cuss. I'm gonna cuss you up out my face. You understand me? Oh God. That's what it is. Look, we can do all the back and forth, Laterras. We can do all the back and forth. The bottom line is I'm looking for what's right for me. Facts. I'm looking for who is right for me. And how me and her decide that's gonna go down is how we decide. It's our business. That's why you don't see a lot of my relationship information or who I've dated. You don't see it public. You know why? Because it's nobody's business. Who I have dated, who I'm dating now, is nobody's business. I don't want a public relationship. It's private. I might be married now. Y'all don't know. I'm an actor. I came on here to act like an unmarried man so that Laterras could have, this conversation with me. I'm an actor. I might have been married 12 years. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know nothing about me. Or something's right with me, Lieutenant. Everything is right with me.
Everything is right. He's not gonna be married 12 years.
Y'all won't know. Cause it won't be public.
So you'll do an Issa Rae where she'll pop up and be like,
I love Issa Rae.
Oh, me too.
I love the way she moves. It ain't nobody business. We didn't even know she was dating. We ain't know nothing. And I love that.
She just popped up and was like, oh, I just decided to, my homegirls came with matching dresses today and we just did this little shoot for this such. I was so confused reading it. I was like, is this a shoot that she was doing? Is this a brand deal? What? I was like, hold on, read the comment. Oh, she's married. I was like, what?
I wouldn't even told people that.
You just be married. You see this woman with you on the red. Well, would you even bring on the red carpet? And she'd just be there.
No, I've done the red carpet stuff before.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like
if
I
you know,
move how I want to move when I want to move that way.
Yeah,
and unapologetically, I won't explain it to anybody.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. So you see me with my wife, you just saw me with my wife.
You be like, is that his girlfriend? Who's that? What up?
Look, this is the answer.
Hey, like,
is Whitney's wig still back here? Thought about that. It's the same.
It's the same.
What's up, Whit? Happy birthday.
He says a wig still back there.
Hey, man, the wig introduced me to your podcast. So,
oh yeah, that's crazy, man. What'd you think about that moment? Because a lot of people, some people's like, did somebody pull the wig off? But by you being an actor and you knowing contrived movements, did you know that was an authentic moment?
I knew it was.
How? You gonna say nigga? When she said,
you said it. I know authenticity. I knew she was really embarrassed. I knew it was a whole thing. The good thing is because she's so funny, that she can lean into that side of it and just be like, all right, it happened. It is what it is. But that's terrifying for any woman to be, in that vulnerable space. Unless you're the type of woman that openly
Snatches
talks
off.
about it and snatches it off and all that type of stuff. But now I felt for her in the moment, but I love how y'all both turned it around. You had no mercy.
I couldn't.
You
take
was
it.
all on the carpet laughing and
I was trying, Affion. I was like, I gotta, because what she said before we started recording, she said, "Well, you got a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, and a lot of men watch your podcast. I may find my husband." And so she went in there and she got herself all prepped together. And she sat down. She was like, and then when that happened, I was just like, I don't know I was like, I didn't know that was a wig. So I'm sitting there going like, so it's a lot of things going in my head. Like, I didn't know that was a wig.
you got caught.
Yeah, I know that was a natural. They make natural hair looking. I was just confused. I was confused, and then I fell out laughing. She stared at me like, and it was like a moment, like it was a live moment. Like you asked, is this live?
She was like, "Are you gonna use this?" I was like, "Poor baby, poor baby."
Would you let a crazy moment that you were in? Would you let it air? Like something like
if it was somebody else and they didn't want me to air it, I wouldn't air it.
No, I'm talking about you personally. Would you allow that? Like if you was walking across the stage and your pants just fell down around your ankles, would you be like, go ahead? Because you're gonna lean into the comedy.
Exactly. Like crazier things have happened. So yeah, I wouldn't really trip. It depends on what it is. If it's something like connected to something sensitive, a funeral, but even then, it's like I can make light of that situation, even though it was a bad day. But yeah, comedy is pretty open in that way.
Yeah, and another person, like she speaks highly of you and talk about how you've been able to pour into her and give her advice and stuff like that in this comedy game.
And people swear that she and I are dating because I posted one picture with her in L.A. Stop.
And that's why you say you keep stuff private, huh? Because people get
exactly.
Well, listen, because you don't never post no women, do you?
Not in a dating sense, but I post women. Yeah.
So that's what it is. So you like me, I'll post you if we not dating, but I ain't gonna post you if we are.
But with me, you never know. Again, mind your business. Just mind your business.
You say with you never know. It could go either way.
This is my emoji right here. Kanye shrug all day. I don't know that. So I can't confirm nor deny none of that.
So people was DMing you saying that you asking if you was dating her. They were just saying, "Oh, y'all look cute together." What happened,
bruh? When I tell you, I was getting calls.
Oh, phone calls.
Some angry, some congratulatory. Let's just put it out. Let's just say it was a moment. And I was like, wow. One picture, right? One picture causes the whole story to just...
You posted a story on your page.
I think it's on my page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on my page. But still, she and I are two comedians. Like, we two... But yeah, people just don't mind their business.
What, did you tell them to mind their business? No, you answered it.
It just didn't seem like I even needed to. Like, we're not dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, she posted a version of it. She reposted it to her story or whatever. But it was like, no, what? It caught me so off guard. I was like, we're what? I'm sorry, what? What are y'all talking about? And if you know Wit, specifically that week in LA, she was with a bunch of homies.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She was at audition, she was blogging, she was doing all the stuff. So it's like, what?
Well, first of all, they wouldn't know that y'all knew each other that close for you to post her, first of all. So
right.
That's what I said. They don't know that you've been knowing her for over a year, and you've been sort of a mentor in her life, giving advice. Right. And so they just like, what? And she's making these videos about wanting a husband and all that, and then she see you with that, and they go, "Ooh, y'all look cute together. Y'all both light skinned." You know what I'm saying? So
nah, look, I get the connection based on her content.
Yeah.
People just be wanting to say something. People just want to say something about anything. That's why I don't even read comments anymore.
You don't read comments?
No.
It was a waste of your time.
It is. I think comments should actually go away.
Affion, why should comments go away?
Because everyone's opinion don't matter. And everyone thinks their opinion matters. Like, it's literally billions of voices that think they need to say something. You know what? I don't like Laterrace's ankles. Why he? Don't look at his ankles then. It's as simple as that. Why you gotta say?
I always wonder that. They'll go on a celebrity page and be like, I don't like the fact that you. I be like, why do you feel? And you see that it's 2,500, 3,000 comments. Why do you feel the need to have to voice how you feel? And especially when it's negative. Now, if you want to go and say something, hey, congratulations on this. Hey, I love your song. I love this or whatever. But then you go and just say something about a decision they made, like you're going to say something that's going to influence them not making that decision tomorrow.
Yeah, if you want to see me really cuss, make me read some comments. Cuss fest. Infinity.
Infinity and beyond. Affion is a hired cusser. Man, you got this. I saw this pop up about the Essence Fest, and you're gonna be hosting what there?
We're hosting, me and Spice Adams. Shout out to my boy Spice. We're hosting the old school hip hop show on Saturday night, June 1st.
That's right up your alley, ain't it?
At the Superdome, right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a lover of hip hop, huh?
Yeah, man. I am hip hop, bro. It's I grew up with it. I'm a practitioner of all the different elements of hip hop. So yeah, it's something that I can't get away from.
So what'd you think when they called you and asked you to do that?
I was honored, man. It's one of those things where it's like, wow, that's they see me now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in this entertainment industry, you don't know who sees you and when they see you.
Yeah.
It's similar to when I hosted the Martin reunion.
Yes.
Like,
man, when I said I was so happy for you on that, I was like, how Affion get this? What in the world? I mean, it's like, so how did that come about?
Martin is my mentor. He's one of my big homies. So we've been cool for years. Like, we met on Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins.
Yeah.
And automatically he just took to me like a little bro type situation. And his whole camp, they just treated me like I was one of theirs, and they always looked out for me. So yeah, when it came time to that, for the Martin reunion to come around, Martin is very particular about who's in his space and who's in his energy, because rightfully so, he don't like people that's going to try to throw the little jabs and all that. So when it comes time for a host, he already knows I'm a fan first. And I always give him his flowers, like always. When my father passed away 2 years ago, I was with Martin on the day. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I knew what it was all going on. It was the toughest day of my life to date. But I knew that my dad would have wanted me with someone who I esteem so much, like Martin, and doing what I love to do. And so that's how much Martin means to my life. You know what I'm saying?
You were with him the day that your father passed.
Literally, I mean, if you want to go into detail, like literally my father was on life support, and I had just seen him days before that. I knew what was going on. And my sister was just giving me the updates. I already knew it was what was happening, right? He was on life support when I showed up to the function with Martin, and by the time I left, he had transitioned. So literally, yeah, I was with Martin when my pops passed away.
Who do you call your pops? The one that you
that raised me from a baby. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The one that told me about my biological father. He's my dad. Like, I've never used the word step.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's my dad. For sure.
What did that feel as a man to lose the male headship in your life? Let's talk about that.
Man, it's the toughest transition to make. And I don't wish that anybody has to experience this. You know what I mean? Like, the one who taught you manhood is now, it's all on you now. You know, and in my family, even though I'm not the oldest, I'm the most responsible.
Right.
And all the the eyeballs are on me when things come up. And so I was like, wow, it's me now. And I didn't want it to be me. I wanted him to be healthy. I wanted him to stay around longer, meet my kids eventually. Like, so, you know, it's tough. It's a tough loss to take.
How do you feel like you've been processing that?
Fairly well, considering the gravity of it all.
Yeah.
It's the heaviest thing ever. But I've worked on, and this is even circling back to relationships, what I've been working on is acceptance.
Yes. When I say that's the most powerful thing ever, man, let me tell you something. All right, we here now.
It'll preach.
Oh my God. Talk about that.
I have been working on acceptance
Yes.
across the board. If this is what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So starting with my father, we knew he was ill and there was things that he was dealing with in his life. And at some point, the day was going to come.
Yeah.
Right? Again, the toughest day, because when it happens, you literally go back to little boy.
Yeah.
And that pain of a little boy hits you and you feel all of it. And I lost my train of thought. But acceptance across the board is, if it ain't what it looks like, I'm not gonna try to make it look like something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, one of my other mentors told me that. He's like, you don't have to get upset or mad with people or whatever. He said, if you just practice acceptance and no expectation, you're never going to be in a situation where you can be let down. Just don't have, because most of our expectations we put on people, they have no idea about. It's our own preconceived notion of what they should be, who they should be to us.
Yeah.
They are clueless as to what we're thinking they should be to us.
Affion, boy, when I tell you that right there, man, you done freed somebody. You done freed somebody with that alone.
So I'm on acceptance right now. I accept what it is. And when you tell me what it is, all right, cool. I ain't about to get upset about it.
That's what I had to do to overcome the heartbreak that I experienced in January. Was I said that, you know, I felt like this was the one. I felt like we were perfectly aligned, all that. But then I realized that we all have free choice. And I just accepted her decision to go get healing and go get back into therapy and whatnot. And the hardest thing, because I'm a fixer. So I'd be like, well, no, I can love you past this. Let me work on it. No, trust me, it's better with me in your life than without, you know, all that stuff. And I had to take a break and just go, I had to go back to my own mantra that God gave me last year, where I said a man should pursue and not persuade, and a woman should present and not pursue. And I said, I'm going into the realm of persuading you of my value in your life. I got to fall back and accept the fact that you feel as though you need to go on this journey by yourself. And when I say that was freeing, because it was healing for me, because it was unearthing some idiosyncrasies that I had, where I'll be like, no, because I said, now I've gotten to the point to where I have staying power. I was like, no, I have staying power. We can go through whatever's bad. I look at the for better, for worse moments and say, everything ain't gonna be great. So let me just show you that I can be a constant in your life, someone consistent. And when someone makes the decision to say, let me go do this next stage of my journey alone, it's the growth was allowing that process to take place. And you said acceptance. When I say that thing right there will preach, because, and you said something else that was key, is trying to put an expectation on somebody else that they like, what, you expect me to do that? And if you ever get down to it, they may end up telling you, I will never do that. You know,
and we never communicated about that. I didn't know that was a requirement for you. Where did that even come from? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm if you like purple dogs and you worship Buddha, great. I'm not knocking nobody. Like, if that's what,
Yeah.
it don't work for me.
It don't work for me.
But I accept you for who
Yeah,
you are, and,
yeah.
and that's what it is. So
That's powerful. Now I truly understand why you say when connecting with the person that you believe is aligned with you, that God brings in your life, and you said at the very beginning, you said God hasn't presented that opportunity in your life yet. And at first, you know, I was like, yeah, a lot of times we say that, and I feel the same way. But then some people be like, come on, now you ain't found nobody. It'd be like, I've seen some of the coolest, most self-aware, beautiful women on your podcast. Why don't you just reach across the couch and marry her? I was like, and people have a tendency, anytime I have a guest on the podcast, a woman that they feel like could be, oh, y'all be perfect together, they'll go in the comments, that's your wife, that's your wife, that's your wife.
That's why I said.
If I married everybody that y'all said my wife, I'd be a whole polygamist out in the streets.
Comments need to go away. Comments need to go away. Mind your business, okay? Because like you, I know some really dope women.
Yeah.
Like I've dated some of the dopest women, and they're great.
Yeah.
It's just something is a little misaligned
Yeah.
in our journeys. Not that something's wrong with them or something's wrong with me.
Absolutely not.
If our journeys are misaligned, we can't go to the same place.
Facts.
That's just what it is.
Facts.
And a vehicle don't have 2 steering wheels. So if you constantly want to go right and I'm going left, it's all good. You have to go that way because you really feel that you want to go that way.
Yeah.
And I used to be like you. I'm a recovering fixer. I'm a healed fixer.
Yeah.
I used to want to bring them back and show them this other thing that I could provide for them. And I'm not doing any of that. I want a very simple life. My life is already complex as it is with my career and just me as a person. Like I'm multi-layered. So I need the woman that can tap into the simplicity of me and really love that part of me. And me love that part of her. She ain't got to come to me with all of the business plans and the this and the that and the frills and the cartwheels. And I don't need none of that.
You want simplicity. Old-fashioned love. Just be like, hey, we locked in with each other. I love you for you. I don't care about the other stuff. Do you feel that you lean more towards the traditional sense of a woman versus what's deemed as the modern woman?
It's tough because I'm in a very modern world.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the women that I come across that I'm around are of the industry.
Yeah.
They're in the industry.
Yeah.
And I've tried to date and make that work, but it doesn't come off the right way. So
He said it'll come off the right way.
no, it don't come off the right way.
Come off the right way.
It just again,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with them at all,
Just
but
don't come off the right way.
misaligned.
Yeah.
Journeys are misaligned. Desires are misaligned. So at my core, I think I am more traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I hear that in your speech because you don't care about none of the other stuff. You like, I don't want no woman that's over here running around doing this, building these huge brands, trying to do all this stuff, and then she where can we do this together? Where you at? I want you at home with me. I want to do life with you. And when you speak about McGregor, you talk about how they're just flowing together. Like that word together means
and
the
I
world.
already know how that's going to be taken out of context. Oh, he want me to be barefoot and pregnant. Oh, I know. Okay, yeah, whatever. Nah, that's not what I'm saying.
When people be, that's what I'm saying. I didn't get that at all, but I know exactly what you're talking about because
even if it's a woman who comes into my life and she's managing me, but she's involved, like we're involved in the business that we're building together.
That's good.
What I'm saying, what I'm speaking to when I say running around, I'm talking about we're running separately.
Yes.
And we keep going in different directions because what happens is in my type of industry, in our type of industry, it's a competitive spirit in the household. Oh, you just booked this? Well, you know what I just did? I don't want none of that. I don't want to compete with my lady on any level. I want us to be in sync and explore the world together.
Together.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Together.
Yeah.
That's the word for the day is together. And man, listen, what you got coming up? Because you got so many things coming up. You just a boss out here in these streets.
So I got my producer bag on right now.
There
so
it is.
I just produced a pilot, and we just left this thing in Denver called Series Fest. So we produced it, shot it. It's my version of what Issa Rae's Insecure was, the male version, right? But Affion's version, not just a template male version. But it's called The Manuscript, right? MANYOU script, which is a mandate saying, man, you script, you scribe, you talk, you communicate. And it's about the vulnerability of men in dating. It's the same thing that we're talking about. But it's a whole show about it, and it's loosely based on my life, but it's embellished. It's about these three friends who are very different. One's married. The two of us are single, but we're different. We're single in different ways in how we approach dating. But in short, it's a show about male dating, and it's not about gratuitous sex scenes to get ratings and all that. It's really about the relationship and the pains that cause us to make the choices that we make with women, and the parental pressure, the peer pressure from our friends that are in marriages and have kids, and they want you to have kids, and so it's a show that addresses all of that in a very real way. So imagine if the movie Boomerang was a TV show, not like the reboot that they did, but like if Eddie and Martin and David Allen Greer had a TV show like the movie that really explored why the main character Marcus was dating the way he was. So that's something that I have that we're shopping right now.
Can I say thank you for creating that? It's necessary.
Thank you for creating this.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate that. But thank you for creating that, because I love to see shows that do TV right, because television and movies and music are such a huge influence on culture. But you're saying, hey, we're gonna start unpacking some stuff in a televised way where we're gonna not just, like you said, it's not gonna be gratuitous sex scenes and all that. It's like, no, we're gonna get to the psychology of relationships, and that is absolutely beautiful. And so, man, I thank you for that. What else you got coming up?
I got this hip hop movie. It's a tribute to hip hop, for hip hop's 50th anniversary. Yeah. And so imagine Crush Groove meets Coming to America, right? Where me and my boys are telling the story of hip hop from the beginning all the way up to now, right? We do some flashback scenes, and then we talk about now and what is wrong with it and needs to be kind of nurtured.
Is it a documentary?
No, it's a movie. It's a comedy movie of us, and the reason why I say Coming to America is we're playing all these different characters.
Oh God, dog.
So imagine me playing.
You already shot it?
We're in the process right now.
Shoot.
So imagine me playing Kool Herc, Russell Simmons, Joe Budden, Ludacris, Chris Rock, like all these different people, Jay-Z. Like it's crazy.
You're gonna be working.
Oh no, it's
that's
live.
a lot of work.
It's live.
That's a lot of work. Is that something you gonna produce, or you gonna try to sell it?
I'm producing it now, so I'm producing it, financing it, and then we're gonna try to do the best business that we can, and we have some offers and things like that I can't talk about, but it's going to be a cultural staple. Like it's a cult classic already. I'm speaking that.
Well, just by you saying it, that's something that's so different that it's like your brain just works different, don't it?
It does.
Because it's like...
Which goes back to what I'm saying about the mate that I need.
Yeah.
To understand how multi-layered my brain is, and not to take certain things personal. Like creative brains just...
Yeah.
We venture off.
Yeah.
And you got to have somebody that understands that and don't... why you got to always be at the computer? Why you got to always be... and why... You know what I'm saying? Like there's a thing that I've dealt with in the past that I'm clear on now.
When I say it makes all the sense in the world, and that's why I always say that I say I'm not looking just for a wife, I'm looking for my purpose partner. And a purpose partner is somebody walks alongside of you and she says, this is your purpose. I know what your purpose is. Michelle Obama had to have known at some point that Barack, this is his purpose, you know, and he had to look at her and say, this is your purpose, and y'all become purpose partners. And that's what I believe that keeps you together for a long time. Michelle has been very candid about there was 10 years where she didn't even like Barack, but because she was so connected to the purpose that she knew that, hey, this is the ages and stages of marriage or whatnot. And so that's what's so beautiful about it, is that we're becoming more self-aware to be like, listen, I'm just not marrying for the sake of marriage, just to have a check, you know, just to check a box and say, well, I want kids at this time. I gotta go and get married. I'm going to have kids. It's just like, no, at the end of the day, I really want till death do us part type of union, and not to just be, you know, haphazardly treating marriage like that. And you said it best about the type of woman that you need has to be able to walk alongside you and not look at your greatest gifts as their greatest curse. Be like, oh, here you go again. Here he is dreaming about, he got another project he want to work on, you know?
Nah, me and that woman got to look at each other and marvel. I'm going to use that word. Marvel at each other. I got to look at her and be like, yo, your gift and your purpose in our life together is, and even in your own life. Like, I see where you're going with it. I see what God is doing with it. We got to marvel at each other. We got to be each other's biggest fan.
There it is.
Because if you're not going to work together. Simple as that. Like, you got to be able to, like, when when someone asks you about your girl, your woman, your wife, wherever you end up with her, when someone asks you about her, you should pause before you answer, because you're so overwhelmed at who she is. You should have that moment where you're like, where do I start?
There it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It has to be that fruitful and make my life even better than what it is, and vice versa. I got to add to her and multiply her life.
So you're going to just end with a whole panty dropper just now. You're going to have all these women like, that's my husband right there. Affion, I knew it. That's my husband.
They're going to say that anyway. I've been claimed husband since when I was in church. We used to get claimed husband every week. I've been claimed more times than car insurance. but you know, that
where was dope. Marvel. So look at each other and marvel.
You got to do it. Why else are we doing this? Just to say I'm with somebody? Nah. It's got to be beautiful.
I love that.
Love got to be. It's got to be like a Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye song. You know, it's got to be that, or it's just not. It's not worth it.
You're doing dates across the country. How can people stay connected with you to see you on one of your live shows?
At Affion Crockett on IG, Affion Crockett Comedy on TikTok. But yeah, the IG and the Facebook is like my main hub where all my information is. So Affion Crockett, you know the one.
So you know the one.
It's me.
And so when's your next date? This will run next Wednesday. So when's your next date?
Next Wednesday? Or
yeah. So yeah, next week, which would be what is that? The June the 1st or something? What is that?
Okay, yeah.
That may be the 31st. 31st. Yeah. So
I'll
it'll run June the
30th. Chicago. I'm in Chicago next weekend, and then after that, San Antonio, June 15th through the 18th. Okay.
All right. You'll be in San Antonio.
San Antonio, LOL Comedy Club, June 15th through the 18th.
Good. Let's pack it out. Let's sell it out. You had some sold out audiences here in Dallas.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, man.
It was crazy. So, yeah. Much love, Dallas. Much love to Texas. Texas always show love. So.
Good. I mean, we love you here, man. I mean, you're just a dope individual. So people feel like, and that's another thing. You don't act like the quote unquote typical celebrity. You know what I'm saying? You got like, how many followers you got on Instagram? Almost 2 million?
That don't matter.
Well, it matters to people.
The algorithm don't allow it to matter. So
You said don't allow
no, it doesn't. Because I have that many followers, but only like less than 1% sees my actual content.
Yeah.
Which is the most frustrating
I know
thing.
it.
But I don't identify with the term celebrity. I know that I'm somebody that people appreciate my work and I have a familiar face, but the term celebrity to me always it feels fake.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that guy. Like, I'm very introverted, I'm very quiet. So I'm more on that. Like, if you see me somewhere and I don't know you, you'll think I'm trying to be on some celebrities, but it's just I'm just very shy. I'm very like, and I don't know how you're approaching me.
Yeah.
So I got to be careful, especially now that you don't know why someone's approaching you. But outside of that, yeah, I've always just been more like in Hollywood, but not of Hollywood.
Best way to say it right there. Mm-hmm. And you got this martial arts background, so if they approach you the wrong way, then you sure can't handle yourself.
Hey, man, I'm okay. I'm okay.
He said, I throw hands.
I do what I do. I can run fast.
You said I can run fast.
I don't want no smoke with nobody. Just understand that.
I can run fast. Listen, Affion, thank you for showing up as your authentic self. I know this audience found a lot of value in.
Were you surprised?
Very surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised. I know that you have a lot of depth about you. I just didn't know the way you think. You know, I'm always curious about a person's thought process. And so I brought you on here not to make us laugh and crack up or whatever, but I want to get to know you as a man.
For sure.
You know, because I believe that the life that you live, we can find so much value and gems that we can take away and be like, okay, I like that. Oh, dang, that's deep. I thought that all guys was like this. I thought that comedians were all like this. You can't never, they ain't gonna take nothing serious. I think they just cracking jokes all the time. You know, it's these perceptions that we put in false expectations on people, and you're like, I'm nothing like that. I'm actually shy.
Yeah.
What, you shy? How you shy? You going live all the time. You sat there and said you had 6,000 people at one time, and then it's upwards to 70,000. How you shy? You know what I'm saying? And so it's these little nuances that you dropped where they may think, oh, I know what type of woman he want. He want him a A-list celebrity woman. The chick would look like this and all that. That's the type of woman he want. You like, actually, I've been there, done that. You know, this is where I'm at. I really want this. And they like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Even when you just said that now, they still probably saying, nah, I don't believe it.
Well, this conversation is for you. I mean, for those that want to pick apart every word, get a life. You got too much time on your hands.
Mind your business.
And mind your business.
Mind your business.
Did you see, I'm assuming you didn't see, I did a tribute to Black women about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago.
No.
During the pandemic.
No.
Yeah, I did a tribute called I Love You Black Woman. And it was based on this company called My Black is Beautiful. They did one about Black men. And it was all these beautiful Black women saying what they love about Black men, and I love you, Black man. They just kept saying, I love you, Black man. And I saw that video. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It just, we need to hear that.
When you watch it, did it get you teary-eyed?
I'm not that, I don't get teary-eyed at things like that. I'm emotional, but not at watching things. It's kind of weird, but I felt overwhelmed with love. Because I love Black women. Like, that's my thing. Like, let's be clear. I love Black women. That's all the cameras. Even yours, Laterra. Look. So I saw their video, and I said, surely they're going to do one with Black men saying how much they love Black women. And I just never saw it pop up. So I was just like, yo. And I gave them credit and everything, but I was like, yo, this was inspired by them. But I did a video. I got all my homies to send in videos, and I edited and like did some scoring or whatever. But yeah, it was on my IG and Facebook. But yeah, just a tribute to Black women, just for them to hear.
What kind of response did you hear? I bet you read them comments on that one, didn't you? Yeah.
No. People were calling me, like other colleagues and celebrities, like women that just needed to hear the message from different Black men, even kids. Like some of my boys' sons was saying they love their moms and love Black women and all that. So it was a very necessary message that most black women don't hear or don't even know exist in us anymore. That is the travesty. That black women are walking around thinking that black men don't love them. That to me is like, wow.
Yeah.
But, you know, it exists. So I'd just like to chip in and do my little part to try to, you know,
put something out there in this world, some positivity and some love. And I'm glad you hit the word love to make you feel, when you watched it, you felt loved.
I did.
And vice versa. The women that watched that was like, y'all actually do love us. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why this podcast, the underlying current, is what it is. It's like saying, oh, like I said, I love black women. It is what it is. Because someone called me out on that one day. One of my homegirls, I was on this live, and she said, would you marry a woman that's not black? And I said, no. And she said, oh, I can't believe you said that. I said, what you mean? I said, what you mean? And so I had to unpack that whole thing, you know, on a live. And it was funny because I was like, you know, a lot of white women be DMing me and all this. And they're like, I would like to go out with you. I would like to take this or whatever. And I'll just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so for her to call me out like that, I was like, God, now I got to address it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, some things don't need to be explained. And I live by that. At the end of the day, I'm comfortable with who I'm comfortable with. And there's certain things I don't want to have to explain to my woman when I come home.
Yeah.
If I come home frustrated, if I come home elated, there's a certain nuance to the way I'm saying things that she gonna know what I'm saying. I don't have to explain the black side to her on top of something else.
Yes.
So for me, that's my comfort zone. That's my love language. That's where I find I call it that 70s, that 70s love, that power fist, that afro sheen, that bell bottom. You know, it was just more of a thing back then where we expressed love for each other.
That was a true vibe.
That was a true vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that connection.
And that's what I said in that thing. I said she'll understand the unspoken. Mm-hmm. You know, that if I was in silence, she'd be like, oh yeah, I know you just did this. And it was just interesting. I mean, and then I had some women that like, I'm finna unfollow you. I was like, okay. Like,
here's what I'm gonna challenge you to do. Here's the mandate for you.
Go ahead.
And this is just a brother to brother mandate.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna challenge you, and I'm aware that it's a podcast, and you have comments, and you have people that you have to address, and just keep up, you know, the fan base and the listeners, the subscribers, all of that. But I'm gonna challenge you as a man to mute the noise, to not worry about how women are gonna respond to what you just said, how women are gonna respond to certain guests, how your woman is gonna, because your woman is gonna see you.
Right.
She's going to love everything, and she's gonna be drawn to you. So don't worry about the ones that might be offended. They're not for you.
Yep.
Don't worry about the ones that are gonna misunderstand. They're not for you. You're looking for one. You're not looking for a million. Right?
Facts.
So, you know, you're not Solomon. You're not trying to be Solomon, right? So I'm challenging you to mute the noise of what you think is going to be said by a bunch of women who aren't yours anyway.
I accept the challenge. So listen, man, y'all give it up for my boy Affion Crockett. Make sure that y'all support him. Go to his Instagram. Check him out at a live performance. He'll also be at the Essence Festival. And I'm believing God for an opportunity to be at Essence and be on the main stage.
Give it up for my merch.
His merch. He got merch. Dear Future Wifey mug right there. He gets to take home. A lot of y'all been DMing me talking about, can I get one of those mugs? And that's only for the guests. But one day I may create something. But listen, y'all give it up for my boy Affion Crockett.
Appreciate y'all.
Ladarian thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterris R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today.
I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I love it when I get a chance to chop it up with my brothers. Y'all always hear me say that, especially people who I admire like Affion Crockett, absolutely a hilarious, talented brother. And it was good to just sit down and talk to him and see a different side of him. If you are in the Bahamas, I will be in the Bahamas this Friday and Saturday. So depending on what time you will see this, the date is June the 2nd and the 3rd. June the 2nd in Freeport, June the 3rd in Nassau. We'll be in the Bahamas. Make sure you get your tickets. There'll be a link in the bio to get your tickets. If you haven't reserved your spot for the Healing Retreat in Los Cabos, November the 9th through the 12th, people have been booking. I don't want you to hit me up 2 months from now saying, are there any spots available? And we're sold out. So I'm telling you now, it's only $100 to reserve your spot. Go reserve your spot. It's a luxury retreat in Los Cabos. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I got my boy Paul Bache Williams. That's going to be the licensed psychotherapist to help us work through some things with our mind. I'm going to work with you on some things with our soul, and then we have some excursions for the body. So it's the mind, body, and soul. We're going to have an amazing time. Make sure you reserve your spot. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear Future Wifey, I've never experienced a summer family vacation. Come to think about it, my family never experienced any seasonal vacations. Unfortunately, that has bled over into my adult life. Even now, I'm booked to travel to beautiful islands, but there's always work involved. I can't wait to build traditions with you, with our family. Sure, you'll accompany me on my work travels. However, what I desire is building traditions as a family unit where we block out a week in the summer, spring, and winter to stay connected. Let's see the world. Let's infuse culture into the veins of our kids. Let's create memories that last a lifetime. You know what? I think I need to take my sons on a trip before summer ends. That's exactly what I'll do. Awaiting the day you join us. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.